anyway because she knows it really, really fast, but I'm going to make some mention of very specific things that you can find out if you follow a more holistic and alternative approach. Are you in medicine?
Yes.
Okay, what are you?
Accounting.
All right. Well, I need to see my accounting. My goal for today is to kind of let you know what it is that a holistic practitioner looks for during an examination, and ways that you can learn to maintain health and avoid sickness. So that's our goal for today. So then what is health? Look at that. What's health? What is health? Yeah, what's health? And are you healthy?
When you feel good, that's the way you feel.
When you feel good.
Do you feel good?
It's not an easy question to answer. What do you think it is?
Physical and mental.
Total well-being. Total well-being. Sometimes we think of health because we don't have aches and pains and we feel that we are healthy. And that's one measure of it, but it's just, again, just the physical part. I tell you what my definition of health is. It's when you are in harmony not only with the physical aspect, with your mental aspect, with your spiritual, when you have good relationships, and when you're in sync with the world, with the earth. And so, is anybody in this room like that? You are. Well, that's the thing. Even as a holistic health counselor, I struggle with this all the time because we're surrounded around a lot of toxins and environment. And as much as I try to be like this, there's times that I'm not the most spiritual person, and there's times that I don't do what I need to do physically. So this for me kind of goes up and down. And if it does for me, I'm sure it does for all of you here as well. But this is the definition of health, and most of us, unfortunately, are not healthy. That's just kind of the way that it is. We like to be, but we can become more healthy if we follow these tenets. So Claire was talking about when you go to a conventional physician and they look at your blood pressure and they tell you what they look at. They palpate your thyroid. They'll, do your stomach, and if they feel anything weird, what will they do? What would doctors normally do?
They send you for a test.
And they give you what? If you have a headache, they say, here, take this medication. You don't have bowel movements. Here, take this so you can go to the bathroom. So, in an acute condition, in the conventional, or when you go to a regular doctor, is what I refer to conventional, they kind of say that diseases are kind of accidental. You have a cold, you were out walking in the rain and you got wet and you got a cold. You cannot catch a cold. In the area of alternative medicine, we think a little bit different. I can't go over here and say, Tag, you have diabetes. It just does not happen that way. I cannot give you a cold. The only way that you catch a cold is if your body is not strong enough to fight off a cold, and then it's also a way that your body heals itself. And I know it's confusing, but I'll explain. But when you go, a conventional doctor will tell you that he wants to cure disease. You have a headache. You're going to see him because you have a headache. He wants to cure you. He wants to give you an idea of, oh my God, let me give you this medication because I know it's going to help your headache. You have a cold. He's going to give you here. Take some Tylenol. Take some Robitussin, take some of this so it can suppress those symptoms so you won't cough anymore, so you won't have boogers coming out of your nose anymore. And that's what doctors do, that's what we're used to. But, so if you have phlegm, any kind of boils, any kind of fever, the doctor will give you some type of medication to make sure that doesn't happen anymore. But when he does that, it suppresses it in your body even deeper. So when your body is doing this kind of stuff, when you have a fever, or you have phlegm, or when you have a cough, that's just your body. If it's acute, it's just your body's way of saying, you know what, I'm healing you. Let me heal you. Let me do what I'm supposed to do. Let me rest. Let me cough out this mucus. Let me take out this phlegm. Let this fever kind of balance itself out. But when we suppress those symptoms with medication and become more embedded in our body, it becomes worse. So doctors really want to kill the germ so they can cure the disease. That is their take on it. Our take on it is that nothing happens by accident. You didn't get that cold out of the blue. You just didn't. You didn't catch diabetes out of the blue. You don't have Parkinson's and Alzheimer's out of the blue. You don't have trouble with your heart cardiovascular disease out of the blue. It happens because something acute like a cold, something like a fever, is our body's way of healing. It is our body's way of healing. If we don't allow our body to heal, we become sicker by taking medication and the things that our bodies are not supposed to have within them, if that makes any sense. So our primary way of healing is to allow for you to rest, allow for you to eat the right food, allow for you to take natural types of medicine so your body is in the best environment to continue to heal itself. When you give yourself antibiotics, it doesn't help. What it does is like that. That's why now there's a big incidence of something called MRSA and C. diff, where when you go to the hospitals, antibiotics are not working as good as they should because people are just inundated with all of this medication that does not help them. You guys are kind of following me, all right? Okay. And so what happens when we're sick? What is it that happens in the alternative realm? We want to address the primary issue. We want to know why it is that you got sick. And it's usually because of low vitality. When we look at the person, we want to see if their vitality is strong or if it's weak. And if it's low, then it's usually due to excess. We may be drinking too much soda. We may be hanging out too much. We may be drinking too many presidentes, whatever it is. Too many beers, overindulgence. Are we eating too many burgers? Are we having too much ice cream? Are we overindulging in the things that we do every day? And then is that accumulating in our intestines, in our large intestines? That makes us sick. If it just stays there day after day, week after week, year after year, and we're thinking it's normal. That's not healthy. That's unhealthy. We have poor eating habits. Are we being overly stimulating? Is the way that we think wrong ways of thinking? If we address this in alternative medicine, we can cure anything. And that's really what I want you to take away from this case.
How close to osteopathic doctors come to alternative medicine? Are they right between both of them?
I think it's tough because it's an industry that you have to make money, but I'd rather go to an osteopath because their training is more along the alternative path than it is the conventional. But if they have, I believe if they would have a client that says, I have a headache and I want something for the headache, and they'll probably say, here's the medication, take it. I think that it really depends on the person that's going to see you and how open and aware they are to other forms of healing. Okay, so we got this. We understand this. But once we understand this, we're good. The rest of it is easy. Now, chronic disease is what are the, without looking, what are the 5 leading causes of death in the United States?